There are a lot of good men out there with good traits on the inside. Of course, there are no perfect men, but there are a lot of men with good traits who are trying their hardest to be good men. Let's talk about it. I want to give you 5 traits of good men that we see all the time, all over the place. The first one is faithfulness. Everywhere I go, everyone I talk to, I'm seeing it all the time. There are so many men in our communities who are faithful, hard-working men. Faithful to their character, faithful to their wife and their children, faithful to their workplace, faithful to their community. I get it. There are some men who are the opposite of that. We all realize that. It's time we turned our attention to the good men who are faithful, who do care about faithfulness. Start giving them the encouragement they deserve, because good men are faithful men, and there are way more men out there who are faithful than those who are unfaithful. And we've got to start turning this narrative around where we stop piling in on every man because of the sins of a few men. This is not a good way to go. It's not working. It's a broken system. It's causing more damage than help. And we've got to get back to the ways that used to work and talk about the traits and the characteristics that we do see and we want to see. And faithfulness can be found in men of all ages, all backgrounds, all societies, all over the world. I see it all the time. And when you see it, you need to call it out. We all need to call it out and embellish the fact that many men in our community are good, faithful men. There's another trait that I want to talk about. Number 2 on this video is courage. We are absolutely overrun in our society by courageous men. I know that there are some that have gone the other way, but let's talk about the men who are on the courage path. Men who are making courageous decisions and choices all day, every day in their workplace, for their family. Men in the military, men in the defense forces, men in support services like our police force, our emergency services. Courageous men left, right, and center all around us. Why? It's true to the heartbeat of who a man really is to stand up and to get in the gap on behalf of others. It takes courage, and it's the kind of characteristic that we need to talk about. We've got to speak about it every time we see it. We've got to thank good men around us for being courageous. If we don't have courageous men, our world falls apart. And if I was going to say anything on this point about the opposite of courage, one of the reasons why our world is in such a state of chaos right now is that men have been beat into a corner. Men who wanted to be courageous, men who used to be courageous, have been slammed over and over and over again with a lie, a falsehood that says, you are the problem, you are the reason why we're struggling, go into your corner, be silent and don't be seen. I'm calling to men everywhere to get out of that corner, to be visible, to be heard, to speak up. Does it take courage? Of course it does. And we need it more than ever right now. Let's get to a third trait of good men, humor. Good men have got a good sense of humor, and it starts at home. And what I mean is not the family home. I'm talking about the home of the heart. A good man has a sense of humor about himself. He knows he's not perfect. He knows he makes mistakes. He knows he does stupid things from time to time, and he's got the ability to laugh at himself, not take himself too seriously. You see, most men that I talk to take their work seriously. They take their commitment to their family seriously. They take things like leaving a mark in the world that is positive. They take that seriously, but they don't take themselves too seriously. And that's where humor starts for good men, and it brings a balance to their perspective on this crazy world that we all live in. A good man has a good sense of humor. He's not too intense. He's not too serious. He knows how to laugh at himself and bring balance to his perspective about what's going on around about him. It creates stability to family and friends around him that he doesn't seem overly flustered. Therefore, we're probably going to be okay. Let's talk about a fourth trait of good men. Let's talk about kindness. Wow, if I see something that is grossly lacking in our world today as compared to times gone by, it's a sense of kindness. We are all, men, women and children, we are all being pressured by environmental factors, and I don't mean the environment like the climate, I mean the economy, the world of policy that we're surrounded with from a governmental perspective, the overcrowding we have in our cities and our towns, the competitiveness for work and for employment opportunities. We are being forced into this funnel of forgetting what matters most. And I see it on the road, I see it in public transport, I see it in buildings, I see it in large cities. I see people everywhere who have forgotten kindness. I tell you what, good men have got as much opportunity as anybody else to bring it back, and we should, because it matters. Taking a few extra seconds to see that person who needs help, to stop on the side of the road when someone's broken down instead of driving past, to get out of your car and help push someone when they are stranded in the middle of a highway, to help someone at the shops, to do these things. Some people would call this kind of behaviour soft and weak. I want to challenge that notion. A good man, a strong man, is not ashamed or afraid to carry kindness in his heart, to realise that his fellow man, his fellow person in society needs a taste of kindness in their day. Why? Because we're all under the pump. We're all feeling the pressure. We're all wondering whether or not we want to be part of this machine in society anymore that seems to have become so competitive, so rough, so selfish. We need a dose of kindness in the world, and good men have got the ability, the capacity in their heart to carry it with them into their day, and they can convey it with strength to their mates, to their colleagues, to even strangers around about them. We need more kindness. Let's talk about one more trait of good men. The trait is number 5, generosity. Good men know what it means to be generous with others, their family, their friends, those around about them. Really, here in Australia, we would call this mateship. We would call this being there for your mates, that if somebody in your life needs something and you've got it, they can have it. We've got to talk about this trait because it's going on all over the place. Yes, we do see elements of selfishness, and I just referred to that. But we also see an awful lot of generosity. People reaching into their pocket, people giving some money, giving some help, giving their possessions, giving their time. Generosity is all around us, and we collectively, we need to speak about it on platforms like this, in our peer groups, in our workplaces. We need to tell the stories of generosity because they are out there and they are happening. Now, I get it. Generosity is not that click-worthy because what the mainstream media has taught us is that crisis and disaster and corruption and bad people are the things that we should listen to. And we know that gets the click. But we are drowning in stories of negativity. We've all got a part to play in talking about the fact that generosity is around us, and if we talk about it more people will live that way. Men, if you're generous, hold the line, stick to your guns, and keep on being a generous man because it matters in our world. And we've got the opportunity, the privilege, the honor to carry that trait and say, no matter what happens around me, I will live my life as a generous man. Thanks for taking the time to watch today. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, I'd love you to do that so that you can follow along with these important conversations around men and why they're such an important part and key to the future success that our world desperately needs. I'll see you in the next episode.